NASCAR weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 31st and September 1st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
Is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
I got a wreck downtown at Simmons Street near Calhoun. Also, wreck at Highway 1 at I-20 at Brickyard. Wreck at 302 at South Lake Drive. 602, that'll be Platte Springs Road at Emmanuel Church. 26 West at the Chapin exit 91. And Broad River Road at Piney Grove Road. The weather outlook for today, 91 for a high. Looks like second summer is coming back after a false fall. 93 for a high tomorrow, 95 Wednesday, 96 on Thursday. And you can see the trend here. Summer's returning with a vengeance. It's Captain Dave, WIS-TV Traffic Center.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
The home of the national champion, Gamecocks women's basketball team. Congrats, y'all.
A Cumulus media station. The extra point, the extra point, the extra point, the extra point.
With Tyler Head and Gamecock Central.
On the Game Network.
9 o'clock on your Monday morning. Welcome in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head, Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central, along with you. Jack, it's finally game week. We've made it.
It is crazy, man. I cannot believe we're here. This past weekend was a little bit of a taste, call it the appetizer of what to expect this season, and it's going to be a great year of college football. A lot of months of madness, in my opinion.
I can't think of a better way to start off a game week than with a little bit of Sandstorm.
Let's do it.
It's time for your 9 a.m. Sandstorm Pick-Me-Up, brought to you by South Carolina's largest injury law firm, George Sink Injury Lawyers. If you've been hurt in a car wreck or at work, call George Sink now at 803-ALL-9s. This is going to be bumping quite a bit in Willie B this weekend, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be hearing it probably this entire week, to be honest. So, and then once Friday gets here, everyone's going to be revving up and ready to go, and it's going to be hopefully a great weekend of Carolina football.
It's kind of funny because, you know, we go through the entire sports calendar, football into baseball, into basketball, into baseball, and you hear this song pretty consistently. Then we go through the summer months, and you don't really hear it a whole lot. So hearing it for the first time kind of gets you juiced up again, you know what I mean?
It has been a few months since I've heard it, to be honest. But, I mean, you're right. We do go through the summer, and it's they call it the dog days of summer for a reason.
That's right. Well, hope everybody has their towels ready for Saturday. And again, appreciate everyone at George Sink Injury Lawyers for sponsoring the 9 a.m. Sandstorm Pick-Me-Up. We'll be running for you all week, getting you set for Gamecocks and Old Dominion coming up on Saturday, 4:15 kick. You'll be able to listen to right here on the game pregame coverage starting at 11 a.m. with myself and Terry Ford on the pregame show. And then we can finally answer some questions about this team that we've been scratching our head about really this entire offseason.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that just because it's not that it's, I mean, it kind of has been getting old, writing the same old, okay, this is how, the offensive line is improving. This is how the wide receivers are looking. It's all speculation and what we're hearing from the coaches and players and stuff and taking their word for it. I am personally ready to have my own two eyes on that field and just see how I think things are shaping out, right?
Right.
And that's just, it's just been 4 weeks of this, and it's time to see how the boys really look in action.
Well, it's one of those things that, and I'm glad you're in here with me on Mondays now, because we have Reaction Mondays, where next Monday people are either going to call in here really thrilled about what they saw on Saturday, or they're going to be really, really angry about what they saw on Saturday. And, you know, that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the year, because last year on the Monday after the North Carolina game, you can imagine it was a lot of negativity and a lot of people very upset with what they saw. And again, we saw those issues persist throughout the entire season. So hopefully, and with an opponent like Old Dominion, not disrespecting them, hopefully South Carolina's able to handle their business this weekend.
I think it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people expect. I think the Gamecocks are...
Don't scare people.
I know. I think the Gamecocks are favored by, 20.5? So that's the last line I saw. So if it's changed since then, apologies. But I think with this team, South Carolina can be very good this year, and it's going to take a little bit of time, I think, right out of the gate to, how many snaps is Rocket Sanders going to play? How long is it going to take for the run game to get going? How are the wide receivers going to look? Are they going to catch a lot of passes? How's Lenore Sellers going to look, first and foremost? If all those things work, this team can easily win this game by however many points you imagine them winning by. But I think right away in the first game against a Sun Belt team, this isn't like a FCS Eastern Illinois type of team or a Georgia State or something. This is going to be a tough game at first, and I do see South Carolina covering the spread, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little closer than most might think.
Well, we'll start to get some answers to questions with the depth chart that's going to be coming out sometime today. We don't have an exact time on that, but usually sometime in the afternoon of the game week, where we, of course, know that Lenore Sellers is going to be the starter. There's going to be a lot of oars on the depth chart, more likely than not, but it'll finally put to bed some of the questions we've had about, okay, who's starting where, who's going to be in what rotation, what the other cornerback spot's going to look like, even though we have a pretty good idea about how most of these things have gone, in camp and through scrimmages. Seeing it on paper, though, saying, okay, this is what we're doing going into game number one, just gives you the final answer to those questions, at least for this week.
Yeah, definitely. There's been a lot of questions about this team and stuff, but it's going to be nice to start to form your own opinion on what these guys look like. And again, even if South Carolina wins this week, I can still imagine there's going to be people, for whatever reason, still not totally happy. And that's okay.
Well, unless you go out there
and win by,
you smoke them 100 to nothing, there's going to be concerns coming away.
Yes, there's always going to be concerns. It's going to be, with offense, it's going to be, okay, Sellers looked amazing, but his receivers were dropping some passes, and the run game wasn't great. And oh no, these things aren't working well, and we're going to be screwed going into Kentucky.
Right.
It's going to happen, but I think, again, you have to take it with a grain of salt because it is week one. Everyone's on the same playing surface for that first week, and it's it takes time to get these things going.
And we've got plenty of football to discuss as the morning goes along. It's also race week. Cookout Southern 500 coming up this weekend at Darlington Raceway. We're actually going to be joined here in just a couple minutes by the winner of Saturday night's first career win, by the way, Coke Zero Sugar 400 at the Daytona International Speedway. Harrison Burton, going to talk some racing here in just a couple minutes. It is the Extra Point. He's Jack Felcher from Gamecock Central. I'm Tyler Head on your Monday here on The Game.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV. 107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Oh, Tyler Head for Twin Peaks. It is, of course, finally game week, a full slate of college football on tap, running Thursday through Monday to kick off the season in full swing. There's no better place to take in all the action than with our friends at Twin Peaks. I tell you all the time about TVs as far as the eye can see, delicious food, and of course those 29-degree draft beers as well. But why wait for the weekend? They're serving scratch food and pouring quality cocktails every day after dark. Come by the Lodge and experience the best late night in the league today, tomorrow, or any other day of the week. As we get into football, both college and professional, I can't think of a better place to spend your weekends or any other day of the week than with our friends over at Twin Peaks, right down the street from us here. Go by and see them in the Vista.
Call What's the difference with Lawyer Lisa?
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
What's up, Gamecocks? Ben Cato, third-generation owner of Cato's Power Equipment. Here with a few tips to help make summer just a little bit easier on your zero-turn lawnmower. Hot days mean you might be running through engine oil just a little bit quickly. Give that dipstick a check every day. And consider switching to Kawasaki K-Tech 20W50, designed for ambient temperatures over 120 degrees. Dry days mean extra yard debris. Make sure that the top of your cutting deck stays clean and doesn't get packed with dry grass, hay, or straw. If you're worried about keeping it clean, a handheld blower from Steel, like the battery-powered BGA 60, is perfect for it. And don't forget, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of, well, having to pay to get your lawnmower fixed. Consider using these blistering afternoons to give your equipment some extra TLC. For all the parts, service, and advice you'll need, do what the pros do. Come to Cato's Power Equipment. Visit us at 4012 West Beltline Boulevard or always online at catospowerequipment.com.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I'm at Good Feet. I'm so glad those arch supports are in my shoes.
The Good Feet Store. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com. Sosa Delivery and Movers, LLC is your go-to solution for all your local moving needs in the Midlands, Orangeburg, Sumter, and Charleston areas. Whether you're moving from a house to an apartment, a high-rise to a condo, or an office building to a new location, their professionally trained moving teams will make your move stress-free. With Sammy Davis and his team at the helm, you can trust that your belongings will be handled with the utmost care and attention to detail. Call 803-553-1237 to experience seamless and reliable local moving services today.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy, where the winning is only beginning. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
The Extra Point
with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central
on the Game Network.
But here comes Harrison Burton for the Wood Brothers. He's being pushed by Parker Retzlaff. And the 23-year-old from Huntersville, North Carolina is at the front of this field and may race his way into the playoffs. Bush goes low. Burton blocks. He gets back up. Comes to the line. Jeff, your little boy, has done it. Harrison Burton wins in Daytona and does what his uncle and dad did.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head, Jack Beltry along with you on your Monday morning. That was the call on Saturday night. NBC Sports Lee Diffie, Steve Letarte, and Jeff Burton in the booth as Jeff's son Harrison crosses the finish line first, gets his first career win in the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at the Daytona International Speedway. We have the man of the hour on the Love Chevrolet phone lines now. Harrison, first of all, congratulations on that victory. What an amazing race. Less than 48 hours removed. What are the emotions like?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's still sinking in a little bit, right? And anytime you win at Daytona, it's really, really special. The circumstances in which we kind of got that one makes it, that win makes it even more special. So, gosh, I mean, you know, all the different storylines. It's the 100th win for the Wood Brothers. For me, it's my first career win, kind of on the heels of being on my way out of that opportunity and all those things. And just trying to get that first win is so hard. Trying to get the 100th win for the Wood Brothers, it seemed like it was really, really hard. And there was always that shadow kind of looming over you trying to get that. And not very many opportunities do you get to drive for an amazing family like the Woods, to try and get some NASCAR history under your belt like that. And so to be able to capitalize on that, be able to, put that win in the record book is really, really, really special, and something that I'll definitely cherish forever, and something I will never forget.
Are you aware you're the first driver in NASCAR Cup Series history to win that's been born in the 21st century?
Yeah, I did hear that stat in the media center. I think that's crazy. I feel like there's so many good young drivers out there now. I've been in the Cup Series for like 3 years now, and I feel like an old veteran now, man. But it's pretty funny. I'm just putting that into perspective of, still have a lot of tread on my tires as my career goes. I still have a long time left to try and, win races, and understand I'm still a young guy. It's kind of cool to put that in perspective, and that's definitely a way to do it for sure.
Well, if you need any reassurance, you wanting your 98th career start, Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson both also got their first wins in their 98th career start, and both those guys are champions, so maybe you're well on your way to being that too.
There you go. It's just number 98 that matters the most. So I'll take that and run with it for sure.
And again, talking to Harrison Burton, NASCAR Cup Series driver, fresh off of his first career win at Daytona on Saturday night. And you mentioned the Wood brothers. It's been a long time coming, trying to get that 100th win. Blaney got this 99th for them back at Pocono in 2017. And I can only imagine that was a lot of weight put on your shoulders when you joined that team a couple years ago to be the guy to potentially get them that 100th win. And I can't think of a better place for it to come than a historic place at Daytona that they've had so much success at.
No, definitely not. And what's really cool is you can tell, like, for Blaney in particular, how much it mattered to get number 100 for them. And he had an opportunity to do it. He obviously got number 99 for them. Probably could have gotten 100 on multiple different occasions, had chances to win races for them. And moved on to Team Penske, and still is just such a member of the Wood brothers family. When we won, he was sitting in victory lane in his fire suit still for probably 2 hours with us, just hanging out and enjoying it, and sitting with the Woods and really just taking it all in. And he disappeared for a little bit and came back with a case of beer. Like, that's a good teammate right there. So it is really special just for him to be a part of that as well. I saw Matt DiBenedetto, who's a former Wood brothers driver as well, tweeted out congratulations to them. You can just tell, with all the drivers in the past, and me included, how much love they have for the Wood family and what they mean to our sport. So to get 100 for them is really, really, really neat.
And now as we look ahead to this weekend, Darlington, the final race of the regular season, I imagine there's a whole lot less stress going into this weekend than you thought it was going to be prior to the win on Saturday night, huh?
I think it's more stressful now. I think it's for us now, we have to get ready and gear up for the playoffs. So Darlington's our last race before the playoffs now, and this new kind of wave of energy and focus has kind of come across our team, and it's like, okay, now we have an opportunity to do something special, right? And make some noise in the playoffs. You don't get this chance every day. Yes, we won it at a kind of a wild card race weekend, but now that we're in it, we have to make the most of it. And Darlington's a good racetrack for us. Certainly somewhere that I feel like we can run well at. I finished, I think, sixth there is one of our best finish there. And, just trying to build on those past runs where I feel like we've had good race cars and been competitive there, and try and make the most of it. So really, really happy, really excited to try and use this new focused energy we have, right? And it was kind of all looking sort of bleak, right? Like these are my last, I guess 11 races, 10, 11, 12 races here until, before last week, until, I'm out of the Wood Brothers car, not able to continue this relationship with these guys. And all of a sudden now we have a new goal at hand. We have a new task in trying to get in these playoffs. And now that we're in them, try to make the most of it.
Again, talking to Harrison Burton, NASCAR Cup Series driver, ahead of this weekend's Cookout Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. You mentioned that 6th place finish, which was last spring, and that was probably the most complete race it seems like you've had in your Cup Series career from start to finish. Ran the top 10 pretty much all day. Obviously, Darlington's a very special place for your family. Your dad and your uncle have both won there on a couple different occasions. Why does that track fit you so well, and what can we expect out of the 21 team this weekend?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's been somewhere that, when I first went there, the first time I ever drove at Darlington was the first race back from the kind of COVID break. And so what that meant was, I had I think I was 19 at the time, 19 or 20. It was, hey, bolt into your car, and run your first lap at Darlington under our race conditions in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Like, oh gosh, and I hated it. It was miserable. It was so stressful. It's such a hard racetrack, such a challenging racetrack. And I don't think I finished that badly, but it felt like I did a horrible job. I think I finished 8th or something like that. And, I felt like I had a car that was capable of probably contending for the win, but I just couldn't figure the place out in enough time to go and try and take advantage of it. It was so hard. And I kind of got kicked in the mouth by that place. And what that did was kind of refocus my energy into what makes really good guys good here. And I think after that race, I spent probably 10 hours watching film at that racetrack after the race, trying to understand it and see what different guys do. And what that did is, and what makes Darlington special is it has so many options. And so you can take things from different guys that they do well and kind of put it into your own playbook. And, Denny Hamlin, I think, is known for his super high entry into turn 1, where he's, way higher than everyone else and gets this big run on the center exit. And then you can watch that and go, okay, let me try that and figure that out. And then the next time you have practice there, you try it. And you just take these little things from everyone's notebooks and, all of a sudden you have a pretty big tool belt and you're able to kind of adjust the car, if that makes sense, for the balance that it has, whether it's tight or loose, based off of what line you run. And that makes it kind of something that I think I'm good at and something that, helps me throughout the day.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it. Always love the Cookout Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway, getting set to end the regular season and jump right into the playoffs here in a couple weeks. Once again, Harrison, I want to say congratulations for your win on Saturday night. I know that was huge for you and your family, and want to wish you and the 21 team the best of luck in the playoffs.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on. It's exciting, and yeah, like you said, going to the playoffs now. Let's go get after it.
Absolutely. Again, Harrison Burton, NASCAR Cup Series driver, drove the 21 Ford Mustang for the Wood Brothers, fresh off his first career win in the Coke Zero Sugar 400 on Saturday night at the Daytona National Speedway. And again, Darlington Raceway this weekend for the Cookout Southern 500. That was quite an interesting race on Saturday night. And again, I love all forms of racing, and Daytona is certainly one of the best tracks out there. And that was the end of my day, Jack, after watching plenty of college football going on earlier that day.
That's nice, man. So you got to watch all that college football.
Yep.
And then you got to watch some racing, dude. That's awesome. The Daytona, that's a racetrack I want to go check out personally someday.
Went for the first time back in the spring.
Oh,
it was awesome.
That would be so cool.
Very cool. Well, earlier on in that day, we did get things kicked off with college football. Cut number 1 here, Dave. Here's what happened across the pond in Ireland.
44 yards away to do it. He got it. And the Yellow Jackets did it. Upset in Cairns. They found themselves a pot of gold at the end of their Irish rainbow. Number 10 Florida State goes down in Dublin.
I love Joe Tessitore. They found a pot of gold at the end. Like, I know he had to have been thinking about that all week. If Tech was going to upset them, that was perfect.
Oh, yeah. He knew what he was doing, and what I wasn't expecting, because I didn't know who was going to be calling the game, but I thought maybe it'd be Fowler and Herbstreit. But when I saw Herbstreit wasn't getting moving towards the stadium, I was like, oh, who's it going to be? Sean McDonough maybe? But no, it's a great crew, and they did a great job on Saturday.
The Yellow Jackets defeat the Seminoles 24-21. Florida State was only a 10-point favorite. Talked about this on Friday. I thought Georgia Tech had the ability to cover the 10-point spread. I didn't expect them to physically dominate Florida State at the line of scrimmage. They looked like just the better team from start to finish in that game. Like, Florida State looked very clunky. It's kind of a sloppy game on both sides, which is what you expect in a week 1 or a week 0 matchup. But again, Georgia Tech just looked like the better team. That did not look like a Florida State team. Yes, they lost a lot of talent from a year ago. Did not look like a team that really should have been in the playoffs a year ago.
Yeah, when you see Florida State score on the first drive of the game, you're thinking like, okay,
all right,
this is what they can look like. And then Georgia Tech goes and responds on the next drive, and then it's like, oh, okay, we got a ball game here, I think. And that ended up being the case. Really good game. Georgia Tech kept going, and at halftime when FSU hit that 59-yard field goal, I'm thinking like, all right, this is where they're going to finally get it going.
Sure.
Tie game. Second half, they're going to pick it up, and they just never really did. I mean, it took a final good drive from DJU in this offense to tie the game at 21 late in the fourth quarter, and then Georgia Tech, credit them, they did a good job managing the clock and getting onto the other side of the field and getting into field goal range. I thought when that snap went, it didn't go over Haynes King's head.
It was like low.
It hit his hands, but the running back was coming across at the same time. So I think it kind of messed things up for him.
Sure.
So anyway, when the ball goes back behind him like 10, 15 yards, I'm like, oh, gosh, all right.
Right.
Georgia Tech's out of field goal range. What are they going to do? This is where Florida State's going to do something. In the back of my mind, I'm like, there's no way they pull a reverse Uno card of 10 or 9 years ago when what was it?
Miracle on Techwood Drive.
Yes, exactly. So you know what I'm talking about. So,
oh, yeah.
But I mean, credit to Georgia Tech, man. They got back in the field goal range and knocked it through, and what a crazy upset win.
And for DJU, who, of course, started at Clemson, and he was a 5-star and was projected to be the next guy after Trevor Lawrence moved on. He started those games during the COVID year when Lawrence couldn't play and looked good in those games. But when he finally got the reins handed to himself at Clemson, he just wasn't that good. There was just something about him that was off. They didn't trust him on that offense, couldn't make the throws that he needed to, and obviously ended up being replaced by Cade Klubnik, where he went to Oregon State last year. Had a decent year. Numbers looked comparable to what he did at Clemson, but he just seemed like a better player on the eye test, right? Well, then he goes on Saturday's game against Georgia Tech, and it's like Mike Norvell did not trust him in that offense. And all of his throws were at or near the line of scrimmage, in the first half, and he was completing them, but he wasn't making any deep shots downfield. That opened up a little bit more as the game went along, but still, he just kind of seemed like the same DJU we've been seeing for the past, 4 years now?
But does it say something about FSU not having the playmakers to complement him? I think it's, I don't think it's all DJU. I think it's also the fact of, yes, he's not taking deep shots or anything. Yes, they're playing conservative, but at the same time, maybe it is just because of him, but maybe it's also like Norvell doesn't trust the playmakers. But either way, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
It's a major concern that week 1, they're not really opening things up. And I get it. You don't want to reveal all the secrets to your playbook right out of the gate. But at the same time, it's like you really didn't take many chances downfield.
Sure.
And when you had to in the fourth quarter, when you had to hit on those fourth down plays that were kind of long, you did. So I think going off that last drive, I think that's kind of a good momentum builder for what you need to do next week. Going into what they play on Monday next week.
Yeah, they play Boston College to wrap up the weekend.
So that's going to be another tough game, another ACC game. And look, you do not want to go 0-2 in ACC play right out of the gate. Otherwise, this really could be a rough year for them. But I think DJU showed a lot of good in that final drive of the game. It's just as a whole, it wasn't super impressive. But then again, it's DJU. It's not like, when he first came onto the scene coming in for Trevor Lawrence back in 2020, I think everyone thought this guy was going to be insane. He throws for over 400 yards against Notre Dame. And, from there, people are thinking like, okay, like this guy is 5-star talent. He's going to be just as good, if not better than Trevor Lawrence. And he really hasn't lived up to the hype. And you just hope with this offense, they're able to run the ball a little better and do a little more in the ground game.
The bigger concern is up front in the trenches. Because, like I said, Georgia Tech physically dominated them on the line of scrimmage in this game. They ran all over them for 190 yards to Florida State's 98, which most of that came on their first drive of the game. And look at this. Georgia Tech, 7 tackles for losses in this game. Florida State only 3. They were living in the backfield of Florida State, it seemed like. And again, Florida State's got a lot of good, talented guys up front, but it didn't look like that on Saturday.
No, and that might be another thing that we haven't really talked about yet for why Norvell really didn't open up the playbook a ton. I mean, when you're throwing the ball downfield, you need more time in the pocket for receivers to get open. And if you're throwing it short game and dump off passes and stuff, it doesn't take that long. You only need a few seconds to really get going. So, look, there's a lot of issues with this Florida State offense right now. It's good to see it in week 1, kind of where it's at, but it just means you have a lot of room for improvement, and you got to improve quickly. And you're coming back from Ireland, man. Like, it's going to be a long flight back. And I mean, you have until Monday for your next game, but it's like you got so many things to improve on rather quickly, and it's only the first game of the year.
I want to continue this conversation because now that Florida State has a loss as a top 10 team, projected team that's supposed to be in the playoffs, what does this mean now in the new 12-team format? We'll dive into that coming up. It is The Extra Point. He's Jack Belcher from Gamecock Central. I'm Tyler Head. It is finally game week. 5 days until kickoff. South Carolina and Old Dominion coming up on Saturday here on The Game.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game.
Ever sit in this meeting?
What would you say you do here?
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that?
Think to yourself, man, I'd rather be listening to The Game.
You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Well, just go to iTunes or Google Play and download our app on all of your devices, and you'll never be without The Game again.
This year, Roy and Dana Finley are shaking things up at AAA Heating and Air. For the next 12 months, they're telling their customers no. Get a new system purchase with no payments and no interest for a whole year. You heard that right. Purchase a brand new system in 2024 and get no payments and no interest until 2025. Do what I did. Call AAA Heating and Air today for your free estimate. 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. It's the Love Chevrolet countdown to Gamecock football.
5 days till kickoff.
No games, no add-ons, no surprises. No wonder so many people buy with confidence at Love Chevy, home of the $1,000 low price guarantee. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Just how does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Suddeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs. Well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you became a customer? Give them a call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SuddethAuto.com.
The Clemson Jackpot $5 scratch-off ticket is back, giving you a chance to win up to $200,000 while supporting future Tigers. And level the playing field with a second chance promotion for another shot to win $50,000, $75,000, or $100,000. Let's show them what we're made of, Tigers. The South Carolina Education Lottery, supporting education for more than 20 years. Overall odds are 1 in 3.98. Top prize odds are 1 in 520,000. Second chance odds depend on number of entries received.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
Hey, it's Chris Clark. I want to invite you to join me and Wes Mitchell on GamecockCentral.com for in-depth insider coverage of South Carolina football. New members can use promo code KICKOFF24 to get 50% off an annual subscription. That's promo code KICKOFF24 on GamecockCentral.com.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah. Crazy story. I'm at the Nissan end of summer sales event when Laura, the saleswoman, asks,
"Want to test drive the Rogue?"
I'm like, let's go. We're driving when Laura says,
"Want to see something cool? VC turbo engine."
I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Laura goes,
"Check this out."
She shows me the miles per gallon, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive fuel economy.
These new Nissan Rogues are going fast.
I knew I had to have that Nissan Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Nissan Sentra. Get up to $2,500 total savings on remaining select early model 2024 Rogue Platinum trims. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. Total savings consists of $1,250 retail customer cash plus $1,250 bonus cash on select remaining 2024 Rogue inventory as available at your local dealership. Select Rogue bonus cash available on 40% of dealers' most aged inventory. Updated weekly. Available on purchase from new dealer stock. Contact your local dealer for current inventory information. Ends 9/3/24.
Talking Hardwood.
Sponsored by Georgia Pacific.
Georgia Pacific is now accepting applications. Entry-level and skilled positions available. Great growth potential.
Georgia Pacific.
As a former offensive lineman, how much pride did you have watching that group control the line of scrimmage?
Are you kidding me? Run the ball.
Well, you did that extremely well.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Belcher from Gamecock Central along with you here on your Monday on the game, kind of a reaction Monday, week 0, not a full weekend of college football. Obviously, no Gamecocks, but plenty to talk about coming away from Florida State and Georgia Tech. That was Brent Key, head coach of the Yellow Jackets that you heard there, talking about running the ball coming away from Saturday. And I think it's fitting this is our Talking Hardwood segment because I believe Georgia Tech took the wood to them on Saturday, again, out rushing Florida State 190-98. And I believe 58 of those rushing yards for Florida State came on that opening drive.
Yeah.
So they completely ran over them for the rest of that game, kept the ball for a long time, long sustained drives. Florida State only had one possession in the final 21 minutes of that game on Saturday. Like, that's how good Georgia Tech was at controlling the ball. And I know in the last segment, we spent the entire time talking about what went wrong with Florida State. Let's talk about what's gone right with Georgia Tech. This is a team that I don't think a lot of people were talking a lot about going into the season. The focus of this game was Florida State. Again, playoff snub, DJU coming in, all that kind of stuff. Georgia Tech's a sneaky good team. I've brought this up many times. They gave Georgia all they could handle in the rivalry game at the end of last year. Haynes King, when he can stop throwing interceptions, a very capable quarterback that not a lot of people talk about. And they went out there and put it all together on Saturday and got the win.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, they definitely ran the ball better. I mean, they did almost rush for about 200 yards at 190. So Jamal Haynes, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Haynes King, despite, I mean, even after throwing for 146 yards, he's rushing for 54. And this offense was able to keep up. I mean, you saw it on the first drive of the game when they're able to go right back down the field after Florida State opens the game with a touchdown. From there, they really did control the ball and the amount of time they're on the field. And the crazy part is Florida State won the time of possession battle for all intents and purposes. And despite that, it didn't look like you said, the second half there, Georgia Tech really controlled this game. And a big part of it is what you're able to do in the ground game, because if you're able to run the ball like they did, that just opens up the pass game when you need to. And you see a team like Florida State struggle to get really anything going after that first drive.
Well, it looked like they were just very undisciplined in a lot of ways. And I brought this up to you earlier. I'm looking at their grades here on Pro Football Focus, and the things that they were the absolute worst at were coverage and tackling. That tackling was god awful. Missing arm tackles, guys being out of position. It just looked like a very undisciplined team.
I know. It's just like, were they even ready for this game? Like,
and I don't know. Is it jet lag for flying all the way over there?
Oh,
and I mean, Georgia Tech had to fly over there too. I saw a lot of people bring that excuse, like, well, DJU, it's the plane ride, and he's not rested as much as he needs to. I'm like, well, I don't know. People find all kinds of excuses.
This isn't a Hawaii, Delaware State situation where one team has to fly across the country.
Which, credit to Delaware State, they hung in there better than I thought they would.
Yeah, I figured Hawaii wasn't going to cover the spread. That was too big, man. 40 points, but that's besides the point.
Right.
Georgia Tech just simply was the better team on Saturday. It's okay to admit that. Like, Florida State just did not play well after that first drive, and they had their opportunities. They couldn't take advantage of them. And they just really did not look prepared for what was to come. And maybe it was enjoying the Irish aspects of.
Maybe they were hanging out with McAfee in the bar the day before.
Honestly, it wouldn't shock me, but I don't know, man. Just something about maybe they overlooked Georgia Tech too, like a lot of people seemingly did. I mean, everyone on game day, but Seamus picked.
Right. I know.
Florida State.
Shout out to Seamus. He got Georgia Tech right.
He did. So, but again, it's like just the underdog factor, the ball control, running the ball well, making the big plays when you need to. That's why Georgia Tech won. And also credit to this defense for really stepping up when it mattered most.
I'm on Florida State's ESPN page here, and the top thing at the top is Paul Fonbaum saying their playoff hopes, they're in trouble. Now, yes, when you look at a team like that, we can project out and say, okay, maybe they'll end up losing, 3 or 4 games or something like that. But the fact of the matter is, in this new 12-team playoff, this doesn't really change anything for Florida State. Yes, it's going to ding them in the rankings, but if they win all their ACC games and win the conference championship, they're still in. That's the new reality of college football now. For years with the BCS and even with the 14 playoff, when you lost that first game, I was like, oh, can you still make the playoff? Can you still make the championship game because of this? And especially if you lost the second game, well, guess what? That's out the window. But now, Florida State could lose 3 games or 4 games as long as they still find a way to get themselves in the ACC championship game and win that, depending on how good the conference is. They're still in. Like, that's the new reality of college football now.
It's still very much possible they get to the ACC championship game because, again, they have Boston College on Monday at home. Mm-hmm. You have Clemson at home. You go to Miami. You go to Notre Dame. Then again, Notre Dame's a non-conference game since Notre Dame's independent, so it doesn't really ding you in that aspect, but it dings you from a CFP perspective if you don't get to the ACC title game. So the schedule, honestly, like looking at Memphis could beat them. You never know, man. Like SMU, right. North Carolina, like Florida, there's a lot more tougher games in the schedule now that we get to look at how they played in week 1. I think they're going to be so much better moving forward. This will be the game that kind of like wakes them up, I think, a little bit. They're returning home. It wouldn't shock me if they played a lot better. Maybe tried opening it up on Monday. But everything is still in position for them. And like you said, the ACC champion makes the playoff automatically. So it is very possible, but they got to win these key games like Clemson, Miami, and those are the big ones for me.
They are the first team to ever be in 17th place in the ACC, by the way.
Oh man, that's bad. I thought that place would have been for like Stanford or something this year, but I guess it's for Florida State right now.
Well, I don't know how long they're going to stay there, but at least for the next week, because I'm trying to think because they would play another conference game on Monday against Boston College. I don't know how many other ACC teams are playing conference opponents in week number 1.
Probably not many.
Yeah, probably not. So they could still be in 17th place coming away from next weekend.
Man, if they lose, they're gonna have a 2-game deficit compared to everyone else.
Listen, these things sound so bizarre now.
It's so strange.
It's the new reality. And again, in years past, we would have looked at this, especially last year. We said, oh, man, Florida State losing to Tech in week number 1. Even if they win the ACC championship, they might not make the playoffs. Now, got a guaranteed spot. You find the way to at least get yourself in the championship game and win it, no matter how many losses you have. You have 5 losses and you win that thing. And that's a little bit of a tougher road to hoe, but you got 5 losses and win your conference championship, you're still in. Like, that's the new reality. Whether you love it or hate it, that's where we're at.
You're right about that. I can't wait to see the one year where everyone in a specific conference just has a bad year. It's like you get a 4-loss championship team in there. That would be something.
And then the 10-2 team that's ranked 11th, that gets left out, is going to be furious.
Oh yeah, and then you're going to be having more debate, and that we should expand the playoff again. It's a rotating carousel, man. It just never stops.
Like I said, love it or hate it, it's the new reality of college football, and we saw a great example of that on Saturday. And I don't know, does this set the tone for a chaotic year? Well, we kind of set the bar at 2007 as like the most unhinged, week-to-week chaotic year of college football. I don't know, man. That's what we saw all day on Saturday, by the way. There's other week zero games we didn't get into.
It wasn't just this game.
Like, we saw a lot of chaos.
Montana State, shout out to them for coming back against New Mexico. That was unreal. And then SMU in the final minutes beat Nevada.
Hang on to beat Nevada.
Yes.
And again, credit to Delaware State. They were a 40-point dog. And they lost, but they didn't get smoked like I thought they would.
Yeah, they lost by 21? And again, it's Hawaii we're talking about.
But I thought the long plane ride, the travel issues, I just man, this has all the makings for a team that's going to be gassed before it even kicks off.
Bad teams do not become good overnight. This is not going to. If it were Alabama or something, sure, Alabama would probably win by 40. But this is Hawaii we're talking about. This isn't the Colt Brennan, Sugar Bowl days, 2008, whatever the case might be. This is Hawaii football 2024, and they're going to get smoked in some games this year. Would not shock me. They're in a weird situation there out in the islands. But Delaware State, give credit to them. They played a lot better than I think most who were or were not watching probably thought.
Plenty more to get into. I want to divert to baseball a little bit because I have a burning question as it relates to college football. We'll dive into that coming up. It is the Extra Point. He's Jack Felcher from Gamecock Central. I'm Tyler Head on your Monday on The Game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
Sips and Sounds, Saturday, September 28th at the Carolina Haven.
It's the only craft beer, wine, and spirits tasting event that is indoors, under the cool AC.
Over 40 brands of local, regional, and national craft beers, wine, seltzers.
Live music by Ken and Drew of Sister Hazel, Dazer, and the Donovan Twins.
Get your early bird unlimited tasting wristbands starting at just $35 at sipsandsoundscola.com. sipsandsoundscola.com.
This is Andrew Perloff with a Sports Minute sponsored by Fisher Investments. Oh, not like this, Florida State. 2024 was supposed to be a revenge tour after the committee left them out of the playoff last year. Instead, they no-showed against Georgia Tech in Dublin on Saturday. The Noles lost 24-21. With a 12-team playoff, they may have a chance, but they're in a hole. It's been a tough ride for fans. After Saturday, it won't get any easier. I'm Andrew Perloff.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
It's time for mortgage protection with Preston and your top broker, Benji Getsy from Buford Lending. Rates continue to fall. Hey, Benji, give us this week's mortgage minute.
Excellent rates across the board and the best rates of 2024. Now is the time to purchase or refinance. VA 30-year purchase, 5.7%. VA refinance, 5.5% with no income, no appraisal. FHA 100% USDA, 5.8%, APR 6.0. And the 30-year conventional, lowest of 2024, 5.99, APR 6.0. 5.3. Investor loans, fix and flip, DSCR and second home, 7.6%, APR 8.0. And don't forget our first-time home buyer incentive, 100% financing with up to $15,000 in down payment assistance. So shop and lock your rate with Buford Lending today. We want to be your broker. Rate subject to change, equal housing lender, credit restrictions apply, NMLS 1703543.
For more information on how Benji and his team at Buford Lending can help you, visit them online at Buford.mortgage or call 843-524-2404.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The only thing more satisfying than a crisp fall day is a crisp fall day inside your cozy, spotless home. Right now, shop Labor Day savings on select cleaning essentials and exclusive brands from the Home Depot. Plus, with fast free delivery, you don't have to worry about running out of your favorite cleaners, paper products, trash bags, and more. The Home Depot has everything you need to get ready for a fall refresh. Get your home crisp, clean, and ready for the season with the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free delivery on over 2 million items subject to availability.
The Extra Point
with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central
on the Game Network.
The runner at second base, Norton. He gets it down. Oh, it's perfect. He's throwing away. Right there, he's going to win the Little League World Series championship. Chinese Taipei in shock.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head, Jack Belcher from Gamecock Central along with you. I had to get this in here. That was the Little League World Series final yesterday up there in Williamsport. Florida beats Chinese Taipei in the bottom of the 8th inning with a walk-off bunt. I've been watching baseball a long time. That is something you don't see very often.
No, and on the play, the guy fields the ball. And normally in those situations, the second baseman, you're taught the second baseman is supposed to come over and cover first base. When the first baseman has to charge in on fielding a bunt. Well, no one was covering first. And because of that, the row just goes into no man's land and Florida scores the winning run. So, yeah, it's a tough way to lose for Chinese Taipei, who obviously those foreign teams, they're definitely good when it comes to this tournament. But give credit to Florida. They made the smart play there.
I didn't get to see this entire game, but I do wonder if at some point, either earlier in that game or prior in the tournament, Taipei had a bunt laid down on them, and they saw that the second baseman was not doing what he was supposed to do, and like, hey, here's perfect opportunity. But I mean, that is, and the runner was on second. I don't think there was any outs at that point in time. So if nothing else, you're trying to move the runner over. But man, the pitcher airmailed the ball past first because there was nobody there, and the rest is history.
Yeah, smart play there by Florida to do that. And I'm sure they did see something where it's like, hey, we could take advantage of this. And if they did, credit to them because that's outsmarting your opponent right there. But yeah, that's a tough way to lose though for those kids, man, because you go through all these different tournaments just to get to Williamsport. It's like people forget, they've probably been playing.
Oh, I mean,
since early June, probably.
Because All-Star starts about early June. You got to go through your local, your state, your regional, get all the way there.
You go through 3 to 4 tournaments just to get to Williamsport.
Right.
And if you get there, it's a huge accomplishment in and of itself. But to get to the championship game and lose in that fashion, man, that's. If this were real, pro MLB, if this were the World Series, oh my gosh, people would be losing their minds. But because it's a Little League World Series, it's oh, poor kids.
Speaking of losing their minds,
yes,
I have to ask you this because you're a resident Yankee fan here. Aaron Judge is currently outpacing his production from 2022, where he set the AL record with 62 home runs in the season. People remember during that season, there was a lot of cut-ins of college football anytime Aaron Judge was at bat on a random Saturday playing the Orioles at 2:10 or whatever. Are we going to be inundated with a lot of Aaron Judge during college football again this year? I'm asking on behalf of everyone.
It wouldn't surprise me if ESPN did that again. However, I do not stand for it. I'm a Yankee fan, diehard Yankee fan. Love Aaron Judge, but I did not like it back in 2022 when it's just cutting over. And you have to hear the Yes Network audio. So it's not a knock on Yes Network. It's just we want to hear college football, man. Sure. And they did it for every single at-bat, too. And it's I get it. This is historical. But the only exception you should be doing that for is when it's we're entering 73 Barry Bonds territory.
Sure.
For the single-season home run record. For the AL, it's come on. But I don't know. Obviously, he's got to get close to it first. He's at 51 right now. So if he gets to about the 58, 59, 60 mark, we could probably see.
Well, he had 51 at the end of August in 22, and it's still a couple more days to go. Got 2 home runs in yesterday's game. So he has the opportunity to beat it this year, certainly. And again, beating your own record, is that as big of a deal? I don't know. But it is the Yankees, who are a national and international brand. So we may get some more cut-ins of him this college football season. So I'd say buckle up for it. And that was kind of the funny thing when they did it a couple years ago. It's all right, this is a game between, I don't know, Kentucky and Vanderbilt. I don't think a lot of people watching this game are concerned with what Aaron Judge is doing in his own, personal home run record chase or anything like that. So it's just kind of funny, but I imagine we're probably going to get some mentions of this as the month of August rolls along.
I think he's going to get it too, just because, for one,
August and September,
teams continue to pitch for him for whatever reason, and they have about 31 games left, and a lot of those games come against teams that the Yankees should win series against. I mean, you got the Nationals, Cardinals, Rangers, Cubs. The Royals are tough. The Red Sox. Then you go to Seattle and Oakland. Then you come back and it's Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I think the home run chase is on, and I think he's going to get it, especially if the situations arise where pitchers are throwing to him. But the pace he's going at is just nuts. I mean, the second home run he flicked out yesterday, just an off-speed pitch, bottom of the plate, and he just cranks it out. It's he's unbelievable, man. And we are watching. This is our Barry Bonds for the 2020s, and it's no steroids either. That's the nice thing.
For the non-Yankee fans, you've been warned. You're probably going to see a lot of Aaron Judge.
It's possible.
The first month of college football, so get ready for it. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Yeah, it's probably going to happen.
1 hour down, another hour to go. The Extra Point. Dive back into some Carolina talk coming up next here on The Game.
.1075 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Don't let the season fool you. It's pool time in the Midlands. Hi, I'm Paul Romenstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Loans. We have the experts in custom pool design and installation. The summer months might be flying away, but in the Midlands, the heat is here to stay. Dive into comfort and beat the heat all year round. Call Midlands Landscape today and make your dream pool a reality. MidlandsLandscape.com.
Hi, Jen here. Did you know you could earn up to 4.59% annual percentage yield with All South Federal Credit Union's premium checking account? That's 30 times more than the national average interest checking rate, which means more money in your bank account each month. Plus, they have 23 locations right here in the Midlands. Open an account online at allsouth.org or visit an All South location today to start earning more. All South is federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Point. Hey, you okay?
You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
At Atkins Law, we are proud alumni of USC. Since graduating, our attorneys continue to be proud supporters of Gamecock sports.
And we understand that there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see on the field. There's practice, there's diligence, there's loyalty. All of those things we put into practice every day.
Remember, if you've been hurt on the job, who you hire matters. Call us at 803-251-6406 or find out more at hollyatkinslaw.com.
Are you a Gamecock fan that's looking for flexibility to attend the games you want without committing to season tickets? If so, the Gamecock Go Pass is for you. For only $20 a month, your Gamecock Go Pass subscription provides you with access to all non-conference football games, most men's and women's basketball and baseball games, and all softball, soccer, and volleyball games. Plus, you have the ability to add on tickets for conference football games and premier basketball and baseball games for an additional cost. To learn more and sign up today, visit thegamecockclub.com/go.
At Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, we realize that unexpected orthopedic injuries require easy access to specialty care. That's why we now offer the HURT mobile app to give you live expert advice 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for free. With the HURT app, you're never alone with your injury, and a team of experts is just a tap away. Download the free HURT, that's HURT, mobile app from Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery today.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy. It's back to cool season with big time savings on Tahoe, Suburbans, and the all-new Chevy Traverse. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive. Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. WNKT FM Eastover, Columbia.
Congrats to the Gamecocks women on another national championship.
A Cumulus media station. The extra point, the extra point, the extra point, the extra point.
With Tyler Head and Gamecock Central.
On the Game Network.
Welcome back in. Extra Point. Tyler Head, Jack Belcher from Gamecock Central along with you on this Monday here on the game week. 5 days from kickoff between South Carolina and Old Dominion. 4:15 kick on Saturday. Pregame coverage starting with myself and Terry Ford at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. We'll lead you right in to the network pregame that will lead you right in to kickoff. Of course, plenty of college football happening all week long. Got some games on Thursday, Friday. Of course, Saturday, got a Sunday night game between LSU and Southern Cal. Got the Monday night wrap-up with Florida State and Boston College. And, then we're off and running for the next 4.5 months.
It's crazy. It's here, and it's going to be spectacular.
And with Carolina, we're sitting here 5 days from kickoff, still with, I think, a lot of the same questions we've had for most of this offseason. I was trying to think about this last night. What is the identity of this team? Like if you had to put your finger on it right now, the identity would be what exactly?
I think the identity is that they're going to be a, like they said multiple times now, ground and pound football team. I think they're going to be running the ball a lot on Saturday and this season, and I think that's going to be the catalyst for their offense to set things up. And then defensively, I think they're going to be a tough physical team. I think they got a lot of good players on that defense, and they're going to make Saturdays tough for any opponent they're playing. And there'll be some games where things don't go in their favor. But, again, I think for the most part, this is a team that's much better than last year. And they're going to surprise some people, I think, this year.
You know, we've talked about this so much this entire offseason that nobody's giving South Carolina a lot of praise and a lot of credit in most areas. And again, they went 5-7 last year. You got a redshirt freshman quarterback, starting this year. And I get it why they're not being talked about from a national standpoint. But if this past Saturday is any indication, Florida State was touted as having one of the best defensive lines in the entire country, and Georgia Tech ran over them for 190 yards. Now, yes, they will probably get better as the season goes along, but it's one of those things that I think even from these national standpoints, all the hype can go out the window really fast. So on the flip side of things for Carolina, maybe not being talked about is a good thing. Maybe being overlooked is also a good thing, where they can come away from probably not Saturday's game because it's Old Dominion, but maybe after 3 weeks they played Kentucky and LSU, people are saying, wow, this area of this team is amazing. One of the best in the country, way better than we thought it was going to be. It kind of is a 180 from what Florida State's experiencing right now.
Yeah, you just hope for South Carolina they can, prevent the run game from getting explosive on Saturday when they play Old Dominion. And I think the big thing that we have to see here is how are the Gamecocks going to look in the trenches? How are they going to be able to, I think Old Dominion's offensive line is a little bit suspect, in my opinion. I think South Carolina has to take advantage, and they've talked about being better as pass rushers. If they can get to the quarterback and get in that backfield a ton on Saturday, I don't see Old Dominion really being, having much of a fight. But if Old Dominion is able to run the ball a little bit effectively and do some stuff in the pass game, it's like, okay, like we got a good game on hand, and it's going to be a little tougher than most thought for South Carolina.
David Hale of ESPN did tier rankings for all 134 FBS teams just a couple days ago. South Carolina finds themselves in tier 11B, under the name of Where's the Offense. They are grouped in there with Illinois, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Northwestern, and he references South Carolina averaging only 3.41 yards per designed run last year, which was 133rd nationally, the worst by an SEC team since the 2011 Tennessee team. But he does reference that Lawrence Sellers should change that. And again, the identity of what this team's going to do on offense, likely going to be very run heavy with him, with Rocket Sanders and whatever other running backs end up factoring into that backfield. And again, you're only as good as your offensive line, which hopefully can be as good as we hope it's going to be. Sounds like Josiah Thompson is going to be the starting left tackle. We're supposed to get the depth chart sometime later today, and Sean Lee at center, Cason Henry at the right tackle spot, and it seems like Kamar Bell and Torricelli Simpkins going to occupy the guard spots. Yeah,
I was going to say that probably is what the offensive line will look like whenever we do get the depth chart. But like you said, you're only as good as your offensive line, and if the O-line is able to be half, a lot better than what they were last year. If they are just flat out a little bit better than they were last year, it's going to make a big difference. And I think it really does start Saturday with being able to run the ball, and you got to be able to block up front. You got to be able to push back against this defense, which obviously they have, Jason Henderson, really good tackler for Old Dominion, but we'll have to see how he does in this new season. I think South Carolina is probably going to be targeting him a little bit to throw him off his game. But I think if Rocket Sanders looks like what we've been hearing he looks like, and Oscar Attaway comes in there and is effective, and Lenore Sellers is able to make some plays with his feet, then I think South Carolina can really control this game from start to finish, kind of like what we saw on Saturday with Georgia Tech beating Florida State.
With this being a group of 5 team in Old Dominion, it's a tricky gauge of a game, right? Because you're not going to come away from this game feeling like, man, this might be the best team in the country. But you can come away feeling like, we might be in trouble. A couple questions here. For Saturday, what is a point total for South Carolina's offense that would concern you? Like, what if they only scored X amount of points, we'd be in here Monday saying, what's going on here?
If they score 14 points or less, then I'm concerned. Like, that's 2 touchdowns right there. If they don't get over 20 points, then it's like, what? Like, you serious? You might not win the game if that's the case.
Sure.
I think South Carolina's offense is going to be fine. I think they're. I'll make a prediction right now. I think they get a defensive touchdown on Saturday. How they'll get it, who will get it, no idea. That's just a general prediction right now. I think they're going to make a defensive score, get the season off on a good note with the Beamer ball action and all that. But I think realistically, we'd probably see South Carolina score somewhere between the 20s and 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't expect like upper 40s or anything. That's just a little too much for an offense that, again, really don't know what they're going to look like yet until the kickoff on Saturday.
I would say I need to see them score more than 24 points.
Yeah.
Personally. Again, looking at the numbers, this is not a good Old Dominion defense. They haven't really changed a whole lot from last year. Yes, Jason Henderson, very good tackler, even though his numbers might be a little bit fraudulent, but that's a different story. This is a team that South Carolina should be able to move the ball up and down the field against. And if they're getting 3 and outs, if they're allowing sacks, if they're turning the ball over and this turns into a grinded out kind of game, we're going to come in here next Monday pretty worried.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I'm looking forward to next Monday because it's like either way, we're going to have a lot to talk about. Good, bad, probably ugly too. You never know. But I do think this is a nice test to start the year for South Carolina. It's better that they're playing this kind of game compared to playing like your local FCS team or something like that. Like you want to play a team that is, playing a group of 5 team, I think is a nice challenge to start the year. It doesn't show you the whole picture of what your team's going to look like, but it does tell you like, okay, like this is where we're at right now, and this is where we need to improve heading into a huge matchup on the road against Kentucky in 2 weeks.
On the flip side of things, you mentioned you think defense is going to be very physical this year. What's a points total allowed to Old Dominion that would concern you?
I think anything over 20 would be a bit concerning if it's only offensive points. Like,
sure,
I'm expecting South Carolina to hold them into the teens probably. I think Old Dominion's going to make this a fight in the first half.
Yeah, they'll probably score a couple times.
Kind of like Georgia State 2 years ago, but then defensively, things will pick up second half, and they're able to really, like I said, this offensive line I don't think is very good for Old Dominion, and I think South Carolina, one way or another, is going to be able to rotate enough guys in there to where it's like you're getting different looks every time, and you're making plays.
When you play a group of 5 team or an FCS team, you have to crush their spirit. Because here's the thing. They're going to come in here with a nothing to lose mindset, throw everything but the kitchen sink at the wall and see what happens. And when you allow them to hang around, that belief grows. Case in point, look at the Jacksonville State game last year. That's a team that we looked at and said, all right, they're decent, but Carolina should be able to handle this game, right? And guess what? We're watching them drive down the field with only a couple minutes left going, they're going to win this game. If Carolina does not stop them on this drive, they're going to score a touchdown and win this game. Fortunately, Stone Blanton got his pick 6, and the rest is history. But again, you allow those teams to stay in those games, the favor turns to them towards the end because they have the momentum. They're the scrappy underdog that, again, is throwing everything at you and is clearly working if they're still in the game. You have to smother them early in this game. Like I said, I agree with you. I think they got to keep them under 20.
I'll tell you what, man, if we get a game like that from last year on Saturday, there are going to be a lot of angry fans come Monday or Sunday for that matter. It's going to be a tough sight to see. And I mean, look, a win is a win regardless of how you do it. But you want to get off to a good start. And the last thing you want to do is have a game where you're tied going into the fourth quarter and Old Dominion's hanging around.
Sure.
Just that would do such bad things for the fans and stuff and make them lose their confidence a little bit. I do think South Carolina, like I said, I do think this game is close in the first half. I do think Old Dominion, the Monarchs, I think they hang around a little bit and make some plays in the early going. And that's just because everything's still new and fresh. But once they get into halftime, they're able to make adjustments. I fully expect South Carolina to take over in the second half.
What is one stat, if you were to be presented it today, and I said, here is this exact stat, you have no other context to it, that you would feel good about Saturday knowing that stat was going to be true?
Sacks need to be under, for South Carolina's offensive line, no more than 3 sacks. I think anything under that just tells me that they were protecting up front. They were stopping Old Dominion from getting into the backfield, and that meant Lenore Sellers had a lot of time to throw. Just because you go into that North Carolina game last year and you're banged up on the offensive line already, and you get up 9 sacks, and you lost that game for a lot of reasons, but sacks were definitely a big part of it. So you're able to limit them as much as you can. I feel good about this game on Saturday.
Yeah, if I would have told you at this point last year going into the Carolina game, like, hey, they're going to give up 9 sacks to Carolina, you probably would have thought it would have been a worse game than it was. I mean, they were still, a 31-17 game, still not blown out by any means, but you would have probably thought, like, oh, man, they're going to lose this game 48-3 or something like that.
Oh, totally. You would have thought Drake May would have crushed them, but speaking of Drake May, he's been playing pretty good in the preseason.
You know, people are finally seeing that Joe Milton's not very accurate despite his arm strength.
I just saw something. I don't know if it's true or not. Not to get off topic here completely. Apparently, Joe Milton wants to be able to throw the football 95 miles an hour.
That's great, but if he overthrows his receiver by 20 yards, it's not worth much.
Exactly. And hopefully Old Dominion does not have a quarterback like that can throw.
They don't.
No. So that's another thing, man. It's like South Carolina is just ahead. They should be a head and shoulders better program than this team.
I'll take an extension of your stat of sacks allowed. Yes, obviously, then you keep that low. Also, tackles for losses, because if you're primarily running the ball, anytime you tackle Lenore Sellers behind the line of scrimmage, it's going to count as a sack. But if Rocket Sanders is getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, TFLs or jet sweeps or whoever's taking the handoff, you need to limit those as well. If you can keep your TFLs and sacks under 3, then you've probably had a pretty good day.
The offensive line, point being, needs to be good on Saturday to win this football game convincingly enough. Like I said, you are as good as your offensive line is, and if you are not blocking well up front, it might be a closer game than many think. And I do think South Carolina's going to get enough push up front against this defense, and we'll have to see. Rocket Sanders, we'll see how he looks. But I think if he's able to cut and make plays like he should be able to, then it's like, okay, I think you could trust this. You could trust what this offense does.
Hayes in the barn for the most part. Now we have 5 days until kickoff. And again, depth chart coming out a little bit later on today. But wanted to do this for a few days. Haven't got a chance to get to it. As we enter the new realm of college football, we're to power rank the teams in new conferences. Who's got the best shot at winning their conference or winning it all? With that coming up next, it is The Extra Point. He's Jack Feltry from Gamecock Central. I'm Tyler Head on your Monday on The Game.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Sibs and Sounds, Saturday, September 28th at the Carolina Haven.
It's the only craft beer, wine, and spirits tasting event that is indoors under the cool AC.
Over 40 brands of local, regional, and national craft beers, wine, seltzers.
Live music by Ken and Drew of Sister Hazel, Dazer, and the Donovan Twins.
Get your early bird unlimited tasting wristbands starting at just $35 at sipsandsoundscola.com. Sipsandsoundscola.com. 107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Summer was fun. Now the kids are back in school and you finally got some time to get your house back in order. It's time to get your home fresh and clean for the fall. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning today and mention me, Bill Gunner, 107.5 The Game, to get a free hallway with 3 rooms of carpet for only $129. Book online at ZerorezColumbia.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, is the right way to clean.
Hi, Jen here. Did you know you could earn up to 4.59% annual percentage yield with All South Federal Credit Union's premium checking account? That's 30 times more than the national average interest checking rate, which means more money in your bank account each month. Plus, they have 23 locations right here in the Midlands. Open an account online at allsouth.org or visit an All South location today to start earning more. All South is federally insured by the NCUA.
It's welcome back season at Village Idiot Pizza. Welcome back students. Welcome back football. And welcome back to creating shared experiences over pizza with all your friends. We at the Village Idiot are excited to cheer on all your favorite teams, especially our very own Gamecocks. Join us on Divine Street in 5 Points or Olympia at the Mills to watch all the big games. Or grab your tailgate munchies. Visit us at villageidiotpizza.com to find out what's happening. Go Gamecocks. And go Tigers. Benedict Tigers. What'd you think I meant?
Just how does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Suddeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs. Well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you became a customer? Give them a call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at suddethauto.com.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah. Crazy story. I'm at the Nissan end of summer sales event when Laura, the saleswoman, asks,
"Want to test drive the Rogue?"
I'm like, let's go. We're driving when Laura says,
"Want to see something cool? VC turbo engine."
I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Laura goes,
"Check this out."
She shows me the miles per gallon and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive fuel economy.
These new Nissan Rogues are going fast.
I knew I had to have that Nissan Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Nissan Sentra.
Get up to $2,500 total savings on remaining select early model 2024 Rogue Platinum trims. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. Total savings consists of $1,250 retail customer cash plus $1,250 bonus cash on select remaining 2024 Rogue inventory as available at your local dealership. Select Rogue bonus cash available on 40% of dealers' most aged inventory. Updated weekly. Available on purchase from new dealer stock. Contact your local dealer for current inventory information. Ends 9/3/24.
After being almost $500,000 in tax debt, I was listening to the radio one day and heard a ad for John Ecton Law Firm. So I gave him a call and met with him, and he gave me the confidence to trust him after the reason behind my tax problems anyways was trusting someone I probably should have never trusted. He did everything he said he was going to do and then some. His staff at the office were great, very knowledgeable. With John's help, I have no tax debt now, and I was able to have a family that otherwise I would have never been able to have.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
The Extra Point
with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central
on the Game Network.
Well, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head, Jack Belcher from Gamecock Central along with you on your Monday here on the Game, getting you set for a full slate of college football coming up this weekend. If you've been living under a rock this entire offseason, there's been a lot of realignment that's happened since we last saw college football all the way back in January at the national championship game. 13 total teams in the Power Four have joined new conferences. Jack, can you name all 13 of those teams off the top of your head?
What's the question?
The 13 teams that have joined new conferences in the Power Four this year.
Oh, gosh, man. In the Power Four. Oh, gosh. New conferences.
Yes.
Oregon, Washington, UCLA, U.S. Southern Cal. Let's see. Oh, gosh, man. Stanford.
Yep.
SMU. Cal.
Yep.
That's 7. Oklahoma, Texas.
Yep.
How many is that? 9?
9.
Oh, gosh.
4 more.
4 more. Colorado, Arizona State, and oh my God, is there one more in the Big 12?
Not in the Big 12.
No. Is there one more? What conference?
ACC.
SMU, Stanford, Cal.
Okay, you did get all those.
Oh, so am I missing any?
You said UCLA?
I did say UCLA.
Oregon. Oh, I think you left out Utah.
I did leave out Utah. Man.
But you got so you pretty much got all 13, or at least 12 of 13.
Yeah.
That's just a small sample size of how chaotic this offseason has been.
Oh, it's been nuts.
In terms of movement and realignment and all that kind of stuff. So my question today is, how do we power rank these teams? Now, the way you do this is interesting because I look at it through the lens of who's got the best chance to win their conference, because winning your conference is an automatic bid in the college football playoff. As we know, you can be undefeated. You can have 4 losses. If you win your conference, you're in. So in my mind, I think Utah's got the best shot at that.
I think Utah and Arizona have a good chance of winning the Big 12 this year. Other than that, you look at in the bottom of this ranking list, Stanford, probably. I don't know about Cal maybe. I don't know. Cal might be a little better than people may think, but Stanford for sure.
Stanford, you know, a lot of times when you say they've returned a lot of production from last year, it's a good thing. They've returned most of their team from last year that was really bad.
Yeah, they weren't good. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they're bottom of the barrel. I think a lot of these teams that have jumped conferences will be good this year. You look at the SEC teams. They're going to be – Texas should be good this year. Oklahoma, we'll see. But Oklahoma should have they will make a bowl game, I believe. You look at the Big 12, Colorado. I don't know. I don't think they're making a bowl game this year, but I think they'll be better than last year. You go to the Big 10. Oh, and Arizona State, I don't think it's going to be very good either this year.
No, they're not.
You go to the Big 10. You know, Oregon, going to be great this year. UCLA, they might have their work cut out for them. You look at, other teams in there. Southern Cal, I think it's going to be a trying year for them. Who else am I leaving out in the Washington? Washington,
Yeah, Washington's kind of rebuilding from last year.
Yeah, it's going to be tough year one.
I think SMU has a chance to be a sneaky team in the ACC. I'm not going to book them to be in the ACC championship game. I have them 6th in my power rankings of teams in new conferences, and they've had to survive Nevada the other day in their week 0 game, but they got a lot of production returning from last year's team. They have a pretty manageable schedule as well. So again, I'm not expecting them to be undefeated, but if they win like 9-3, 10-2, I don't think that's good enough to be in the playoff necessarily, but I think they could surprise a lot of people. Because here's the thing, like, let's look at the AAC where they came from and the ACC. Take the Florida States, the Clemsons, NC State, take like the top 3 teams out of the ACC. Is it really that different than the American Athletic Conference? I don't think it is.
No, not really, because there's a lot of mid to average teams. You have your NC States, your North Carolinas in there, your Miamis and stuff. But I do think that conference it's a lot of mid. It's the mid. Yeah. It's the mid conference.
So I don't think SMU is going to have a tough time coming in and adapting necessarily.
I think they'll get 9-ish wins though.
Below them, I have Southern Cal at 7.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of talented guys on that team. Miller Moss seems like a perfectly solid quarterback. Set the Holiday Bowl record with all the touchdowns he threw last year. He's not Caleb Williams though. They are restructuring their defensive identity. For the first time in his head coaching career, Lincoln Riley said, I guess we should play some defense this time around, considering going to the Big Ten. So that's a whole rebuilding process. I don't know how significant of a step they can make in year number 1 with that mindset, with that philosophy, against physical Big Ten defenses week in and week out. I don't like their odds in that one.
You look at their schedule. I mean, they got LSU week 1. I think LSU's going to probably, I don't know. I mean, it's in Vegas, so it might be a little closer, but I think LSU's going to really do some damage offensively. And then you go to Ann Arbor week 3. You got Wisconsin. You got Penn State. You go to Washington, go to UCLA, Notre Dame. Nebraska might be a little sleeper this year. I mean, there's a lot of tough games on that schedule to where it's like when you're playing that Big Ten style of football that you're not really accustomed to, it's an adjustment. And I think it's going to be a very hard-nosed kind of football that might catch them by surprise out of the gate.
And for reference, that's kind of why I have Utah at number 1, because they play a physical style of football, especially on defense, that a lot of teams in the Big 12 aren't used to. And I think that gives them the ability to maybe make their way through that conference. Not want to say easily, but easier than some of these other teams. Texas is my number 2. Again, a lot of people project them to be in Atlanta. Could be a playoff team. I think with the talent that they have, and obviously Quinn Ewers coming back, I think they got a really good shot at it. Oregon at number 3. A lot of people are projecting them to be in Indianapolis playing Ohio State for the Big Ten championship game and making the college football playoff. And they're another team that, from a physicality standpoint, people have questions. But Dan Lanning's the defensive head coach. He came from Georgia, so he knows how to play physical defense. I don't think they're going to be as shell-shocked in the Big Ten as like a Southern Cal or UCLA might be.
No, I think Oregon, honestly, Oregon's my pick to probably win the Big Ten this year. I think they are the best team in that conference right now. You know, they obviously have a lot of good. They have Tez Johnson back. They have a lot of good players in that room. They got Dylan Gabriel, obviously.
Got Evan Stewart from A&M.
Oh, yeah. So this offense is going to be loaded. You couple that with what they do defensively, I think this could be a very good year for Oregon. And the thing is, even if their defense isn't amazing by any means, I think they can outscore just about any team in that conference. And again, it plays to their favor when you get to play. You know, I think you go to Michigan, but you have Ohio State in Eugene early in the year. I think that's a very winnable game for the Ducks. And I think they are the team to beat this year in that conference without a doubt.
So quickly, my power rankings for teams in new conferences. I go Utah at 1, Texas 2, Oregon 3, Arizona 4, Oklahoma 5, SMU 6, Southern Cal 7, Colorado at 8, Washington at 9, Cal at 10, UCLA at 11, Arizona State at 12, and Stanford at 13. Sorry to the folks in Stanford that maybe not even be aware they're in the ACC now, but I don't think your number one's going to go all that well.
No, I like your predictions or your rankings. I think it's very accurate and good. Utah, though, I mean, seriously, like they have a chance. Man. They have a chance to be good this year.
They have a 45-year-old man playing quarterback, Cam Rising.
Like, this is a team that always seems to be slept on, and now being in the Big 12, they're not. If they were in the Big 10, I'd be like, okay, this is going to be a tough year. But
well, they go into a conference without a top dog. I mean,
exactly.
The Big 12 lost its two best teams, historically speaking, especially over the past handful of years, and now it's wide open. And I mean, do you look at Oklahoma State and say, well, now they're the big dog? Not necessarily, because they've always found a way to shoot themselves in the foot every single year. So, yeah, that conference is for the taking right now.
Yeah, the schedule plays in their favor, I think. And look, it wouldn't shock me. If they get into the playoff and win a game or two, it would not really be surprising.
Speaking of the playoff, Nick Saban made his 12-team playoff predictions over the weekend on College Game Day. We'll dive into that coming up next. Who does he think is going to be playing for the national championship at season's end? It's coming up. Extra Point. He's Jack Belcher from Gamecock Central. I'm Tyler Head on your Monday on The Game.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game.
Ever been on this date?
You're a good-looking man.
Thank you.
Very pretty. Real soft, delicate features. They're real feminine.
And thought, man, I'd rather be listening to The Game right now.
Welcome in to the afternoon show. Alongside Elijah Campbell, I'm Jay Phillips.
Well, just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the Game app. Sure, you may no longer be with that person anymore, but you'll never be without the game again.
I'm here with the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder of First Palmetto Bank. Jacob, tell me more about this 4.99% 30-year fixed product you are offering in Richland County.
We have a community reinvestment product in the areas of Richland County. Blythewood, Northeast, Southeast, and the I-20 corridor are areas that we're offering the 4.99% interest with a 5.075 APR on a 30-year fixed mortgage. We are underserving these areas, so the bank is offering 100% purchase loans at 4.99% on a 30-year fixed. No points, no mortgage insurance, no gimmicks, just lower payments.
4.99% is awesome. What's a payment look like?
Yes, Bill. A payment on $200,000 at that APR is at $1,072 a month for 360 months. A payment on $300,000 is at $1,608. These estimates do not include taxes and insurance. These loans are only for primary residences, and the loan amounts are capped at $300,000. Call me today. A number is 803-719-1005, or you can email me at jcrowder@firstpalmetto.com. All loans are subject to credit approval and property appraisal. First Palmetto Bank is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. My NMLS number is 198432.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of GE appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Jeffers McGill offers the best customer service and lowest price on every GE make and model,
including GE Profile, Monogram, and Cafe brands. Jeffers McGill and GE, your home team.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day.
Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a Colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com.
Since 1963, Takeuchi has been a pioneer in the compact construction industry, having developed the world's first compact excavator in 1971 and the world's first compact rubber track loader in 1986. Takeuchi continues to revolutionize the industry through innovative technology and listening to customer needs. Now you can partner with a truly global leader by contacting TEC Rental Equipment in West Columbia, Orangeburg, and Somerville. From world first to world leader, Takeuchi.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast. You're also saying the record's going to go down.
I'm saying the record's going down anyway. The guy.
I don't think you're off on this at all. Like, you're spot on here. I don't think this is an overreaction because we have no idea what we're reacting to. Come react or overreact with us. How would you say that? An overreaction, sir. Overreaction Monday. Wherever you listen, it's game over.
Over, man.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet
on the Game Network.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point Tyler Head, Jack Felcher from Gamecock Central, along with you on your Monday here on the Game. Of course, this past Saturday, we got week 0 out of the way. Got our appetizer for college football, which included a full 3-hour college game day live from Dublin, Ireland, where we got our debut of Nick Saban on the game day desk. Now, look, Nick Saban, obviously one of the best football minds alive right now. Obviously the greatest head coach in college football history. Still, I would say working on a few things when it comes to the broadcasting side of things. I did hear him kind of stutter and stumble on a few things. It's going to take some time, but I'm very excited to get his detailed analysis every single week on everything in college football.
Let me just say this. He is a perfect addition to College Game Day. I think Pat McAfee brings a nice sense of energy to the program.
Sure.
And love him or hate him, love or hate his antics, I think he is what College Game Day needs right now.
Yep.
And if this basically on Saturday, not saying it's happening anytime soon, but this was a pre-run of what College Game Day will look like post Lee Corso, and it did not. It stunk not seeing him out there on Saturday. I get why, because it's a long flight and all that, but you'll get him back this weekend in College Station. But Nick Saban looked very good. Knew what he was talking about, obviously, and had a lot of fun out there. It seemed like.
I did think it was funny. Miss Terry was there too.
Yeah,
she had some fun as well. Saw her dancing with McAfee on his show on Friday while he was several Guinnesses deep, by the way.
That was crazy. And then you hear McAfee talking about, like, first thing on game day that he had, like, 30 the night before.
Well, that was my thing watching him Saturday morning. I was like, he has got to be so hungover that morning. And, hey, power to him. He's a champ. He powered through it.
Did you see Tessitore and Jesse Palmer were drinking beers?
Oh, we're going to get to that. Don't worry.
Oh, man. It's crazy that ESPN's starting to allow this, but, RG3's out of a job. But
yeah, they're loosening the reins a little bit, that's for sure.
Yeah, but, Nick Saban, very welcome addition. Now, his CFP predictions, let's just run through it real quick.
Yep.
You got Georgia at number 1.
Yep.
Ohio State at 2, Florida State at 3. That probably won't happen now. Utah at 4, and then your matchups are as follow. 5 versus 12 is Texas versus Liberty. 8 versus 9 is Ole Miss versus Penn State. 6 versus 11 is Oregon versus LSU. And then 7 through 10 is Alabama versus Notre Dame. I think it's a pretty spot-on prediction for the most part.
So the Alabama one is interesting because that would project them to be the 7 overall seed, which means they would be the 3rd highest ranked SEC team, which he's already predicted that he thinks Georgia and Texas are going to play for the SEC championship game, which means Alabama would be 3rd in the SEC ranking or standing to that point in time. And he said coming away from media days, that was his reverse rat poison for his team, former team now, to serve as a motivating factor. And I imagine, again, putting them at number 7, having to take on Notre Dame in Tuscaloosa, which just think about that visual right now.
That would be
playoff,
insane.
The Gold Dome's going into Tuscaloosa for a chance to advance in the college ball playoff. Like these are the matchups that we've dreamed of with this 12-team format. That would be a whale of one to get right off the jump.
This would be insane. And it's interesting because you got 5 teams from the SEC in the in here with Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas, and then Georgia. Yep. It doesn't surprise me. I think all those teams can definitely get in. Now, will 5 get in? I feel like that might be a little bit of a stretch. I lean towards more like 4, maybe,
sure.
Because I think there's a lot of good teams around the country this year. But I think it's very good. I mean, Utah, I think they're going to win the Big 12. Georgia, I think they're going to win the SEC. Florida State winning the ACC still feels like a good possibility. But then again, do not be surprised if Clemson goes out there and wins the ACC this year. I know people around here do not like to hear that, but until proven otherwise, this usually seems to be their conference, and they usually seem to surprise some people. Then Ohio State, I think Oregon's winning the conference this year, but I do think Ohio State will still be good enough to get in.
The Texas versus Liberty game is interesting to me because, again, if a group of 5 team is not already in the top 12, they will get a chance to be in the playoff. The highest ranked group of 5 team gets that last spot if they're not already in the top 12. Set a line right now, Texas and Liberty. Now, again, this is a Liberty team that in the Fiesta Bowl got dominated by Oregon. If you had to set a line for this hypothetical game with everything on the line with playoff, what do you set it at?
Gosh, man, in Austin, too, to be fair, I'm going to say like 20 and a half. I think that's...
Only 20 and a half?
Oh, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like... You could set it higher, but it's a playoff game. It's
sure.
It's not like it's week 1.
Sure.
And if this matchup were week 1, I'd probably set it at like 30. But because it's the playoff and it's all new for everyone, it's not. It's not like this is year 5 of this format. Like Texas might lay an egg. Who knows? I mean, it's tough to say, but I would say about 20 right now.
I would go 30, and I'd set it higher if this were a regular season game.
Agreed.
But theoretically, let's say Texas is up 41-10 in the third quarter. Well, they're going to call off the dogs. They're going to put in their backups because they want to rest their starters for their quarterfinal game coming up in a couple weeks. But again, if this was just a regular game, then and you leave viewers in there a little bit longer where you're not as concerned about him getting hurt or preserving him for the next game, then yeah, I think they could easily put up 50 points on them or something like that. But again, this is the opportunity the group of 5 gets, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm cool with the group of 5 getting a chance because they've been clamoring for it this entire time. It's 1 spot out of a 12-spot field, and again, you win your conference championship, you're the best group 5 team, you should get a shot, and that's okay. I just don't know how competitive they're going to be in these things.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that you're giving them a chance to be in every year, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm interested to see, after 10 years of this format, assuming it sticks, I wonder how many group of 5 teams will have made it into the next round. That's the thing.
That if it sticks is very important there because this format's only guaranteed for 2 years. By 2026, we could have a different format that could be 16 teams that doesn't include the group of 5 if they're not already in the top 16. So they've got to make a statement quickly. I brought this up last week when the stories were coming out about the group of 5 exploring their own college football playoff somewhere down the line. I don't think that's a bad idea because, again, the Power 4 conferences really don't want you there to begin with. You're lucky they threw you a bone this time around. But if in 2 years they reevaluate this thing, they're probably going to drop you. So I would go ahead and start getting those wheels in motion of your own championship, and here's my thing. If I'm a Group of 5 team, Group of 5 program, I would rather be playing for a championship I know I have a legitimate chance at winning. Because here's the thing. And, in the BCS era, sure. Could have Boise State have won the national championship if they got in the game? Yeah, because it's one game. And anything can happen in one game. Factors, turnovers, wacky things can happen. You can win that one game. To ask a Group of 5 team to go on the road to a Power 5 and win, to go to a quarterfinal in a bowl and win, to go to a semifinal in a bowl and win, and then to win the national championship, 4 games, that is too daunting of a task, especially considering the fact that the Group of 5 loses its best talent to the Power 5, Power 4 every single year now. I just don't see the Group of 5 making a big enough impact in this playoff.
I will say, I think Boise State has I'm glad you brought them up. And not for this reason, but I think Boise State definitely has a chance to get in, make a little bit of noise. I don't know how many Group of 5 teams can get in and win that first game, especially since it's more likely than not going to be on the road.
Right.
But if any team can go out there and do it from what we've seen in the past and stuff, and I know it doesn't really matter for this year.
Sure.
I think it could definitely be Boise State, but you're definitely right. Like the clock is ticking because it is a gift that a Group of 5 team is going to be in, because the years past, it's like Cincinnati was the first. And this is why you saw for years UCF always getting left out because they were in the smaller conference.
Let's be honest. If Alabama wanted to beat Cincinnati by 60 points, they could have. But again, they got a lead. They held on. They put in their backups, and they saved themselves for the national championship game, which they went on to win.
Exactly. So,
no, that was the year they lost to Georgia. That's correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, they still played for the national championship.
Anyway, yeah, so that's the thing. And, I mean, look, if the Group of 5 is able to go out here and make a statement in one of these 2 years and they win a game or two, it's like, okay, like you deserve to get in. I think it's better for college football to have this right now just because it creates potentially more chaos. It's like if Liberty does beat Texas on the road first year, it's like, oh my gosh. Like,
sure.
Like, who knows? It's anyone's game. That's the thing about this.
We will see what happens with the return of college football. Even in week 0, that means one of my favorite segments makes its returns to Mondays, the oddities of college football. Hit that coming up next. He's Jack Felch from Gamecock Central. I'm Tyler Head on your Monday on the Game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
I'm Amy Lawrence with the Sports Minute. 2 more home runs from Aaron Judge on Sunday, and it's beginning to feel a lot like the summer of 2022. Sitting on 51 dingers through August 25th, he's ahead of his pace from 2 years ago when he set the new AL record with 62 in a single season. As for the history, he joins elite company. Aaron Judge is just the 5th to ever have 3 seasons of at least 50 home runs. I'm Amy Lawrence.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed.
With Labor Day savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,500 off select appliances from top brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances, like the LG Smart Top Load Washer with easy unload angled front, so you can reach every last sock. Right now, get up to $1,500 off select appliances in-store and online with Labor Day savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid August 22nd through September 11th. U.S. only. See store online for details. America's most reliable line of appliances per independent study.
Do you have sagging, soft, or bouncy floors in your home? Well, this could be a sign of rotten wood caused by moisture in your crawl space. Damaged wood in your crawl space can affect your home's foundation, and that can affect your home's value, and nobody wants that. Say goodbye to sagging floors and hello to a stable foundation. Contact Canty today for your free inspection at 803-424-8380 or visit cantycanfixit.com.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Hey, it's Tyler Head from The Game. Spend your Labor Day weekend at Darlington Raceway August 31st and September 1st. The action kicks off on Saturday with the NASCAR Xfinity Series 200 miler. Kids 12 and under get in free, and tickets for adults start at just $35. And make sure you're back on Sunday for the 75th running of the Cookout Southern 500. For the NASCAR Cup Series, tickets start at just $55. Kids 12 and under start at just $10. Bring the whole family and make memories that will last a lifetime at Darlington Raceway.
The Extra Point
with Tyler Head and Gamecock Central
on the Game Network.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Beltry from Gamecock Central along with you on your Monday here on The Game. As I mentioned, is Monday in college football season. It is the return of my favorite segment, the oddities of college football. Jack, I'm so excited that you get to be along with this because I don't know if you're a follower of the Sickos Committee on Twitter, but they do a great job at detailing all the weird and wonderful things that happen in this great sport of college football. Because on a given Saturday, you can have over 100 games, just in FBS alone, depending on, playing FCS teams and all that kind of stuff. So weird things are bound to happen just given the sheer high volume of games that are going on. And week 0 is no stranger to that. And over the course of the weekend, we had quite a few things that were bizarre. Starting off, our first touchdown of the year. Florida State runs the swinging gate for a 2-point conversion. Something you don't see a whole lot.
No, that play was crazy to start out the first drive of the game. I'm like, what? And ESPN didn't get to show the whole thing live because they were so focused on the replay or whatever.
Right.
And you see the tail end of it, and you see the guy going into the end zone. I'm like, what? And then you see what the play looked like after. It was weird. It was funky, and I loved it.
I mean, I like the aggressiveness, and it's one of those things that, if you're checking the score at halftime and see they're tied at 14, you're like, oh, Florida State scored 2 touchdowns, right? No, they scored a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, then they kicked 2 field goals to get to 14.
It was just strange. The first half was a little cut and dry, nothing crazy, and then you get the 59-yard field goal to end the first half, and you're like, oh, maybe things will pick up from here, but...
You mentioned this a moment ago in that same game, and again, they're in Ireland. Guinness, the official beer of Ireland, I believe. Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer are drinking Guinness in the booth during one of the segments, and the camera guy below them, they hand the beer down to him. Like, hey, you can have some of this too. And the funny thing was, they were getting set for a kickoff. They had to use a different camera on the kickoff because that guy was drinking a beer during it.
Oh, my gosh. When I saw that, we talked about it earlier, that was so strange. And it's not – I think it's just so different for ESPN to do something like that, and I personally like it. I like this direction where ESPN's letting guys have more fun and stuff.
Sure.
It's the way it should be. Imagine you're letting these guys drink – during games, maybe a few beers, and by the fourth quarter, I mean, just nothing is up for interpretation.
It would have to be the right booth, but there are certain sports. If you gave me an ESPN Plus, inebriated commentary version, I'd pay for that.
I would too. Give it to me.
I mean, Harry Carey back in the day used to do Cubs games drunk, but that's a different thing.
Yeah, it would be cool. Something like, Pat McAfee has the little, like, whatever game he's at, the big game of the
they
week.
do like him and his crew do their. You give me those guys on a separate broadcast.
In a booth.
Give
me that.
With a couple drinks.
Yes.
Yes. Sign me up for that.
That's kind of where things are right now. That's the closest we have it right now. I would like to see it. I think it'd be cool.
Other things from the weekend, this is FCS. Tarleton State played McNeese State. And a lot of programs gotten very creative with their video boards when the other team is trying to kick a field goal. Tarleton State had the Happy Gilmore sky thing where it was Abe Lincoln, Chubbs, and the alligator that bit off Chubbs' hand waving to Happy. Like that was, and it worked. McNeese missed a field goal because of it. I don't know if it was because of that. They missed a field goal while looking at it.
It probably was because of that.
Props for creativity.
Now, very, very creative for a great movie. And,
Speaking of field goals, Montana State was down 10 points in the fourth quarter, comes back, scores 2 touchdowns, one of them on an impressive 93-yard touchdown run by one of the running backs to beat New Mexico. As Montana State is kicking the last extra point with a couple seconds to go in the game, there's a guy at the bottom of the goalpost mooning the camera. I kid you not.
Oh my gosh, I did not see that, but that's crazy. But what is it Joe Buck said years ago about Randy Moss? That is a despicable act by Randy Moss. I feel like that was the perfect opportunity to say something.
I don't know who the guy was, but he got his 15 seconds of fame at least. Norfolk State. Yeah, they played the FCS kickoff game again on Saturday night. Had a player puke on the field, and then the team scored a touchdown the next play. I call that puke and rally.
Yes, yes, and this is the time of year where you hopefully not a ton, but you got guys that are in the first game of the year, the heat's getting to them, and then they just let it all loose. And I'm sure we'll see it a few times this week, but it just shows that we're at the beginning of college football season.
Last one here. Hawaii and Delaware State played. They put it as an 11:59 kick. It was really a midnight kick. And again, they're 5 hours behind us, so it's a late evening night game there in Hawaii. The most Hawaii thing ever. And this tests your loyalty as a college football fan. You had to download the Team One Sports app, which I had never heard of prior to this weekend, to watch this game. This game was not available on ESPN, ESPN Plus, or anything like that. You had to download an obscure sports app to watch Hawaii and Delaware State. And here's the thing. A lot of us did it.
That's the crazy part. And it was a little too late for me to tune in and watch, but I'm sure a lot of people did, and I'm glad there was a way to watch it, just because we were thinking oh my gosh, is this game even going to be available or anything?
Sure.
Think about how cool it would have been if ESPN's out there for the one time this year. You got a trip to Hawaii. ESPN should have been all over that, but guess not.
We don't have Pac-12 After Dark anymore, but we still have Hawaii at midnight.
Hey, we'll still have late games, though, for those West Coast teams, so it's close enough.
That'll do it for today's edition of The Extra Point. Coming up next, Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs on your Monday here on The Game.
.1075 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Fall is just around the corner. That means phenomenal weather and getting out to your favorite golf course here in the Midlands. Charwood Golf Club, where Rock and Daniel Lucas have an incredible layout and create a fun, relaxed environment each time you head out to the course. So give them a phone call today and line up that tee time, 803 803-755-2000. Again, that's 803-755-2000. Go find out about one of the Midland's hidden golf gyms. That's Charwood Golf Club. Get out there today and schedule an appointment. 803-755-2000.
Hey, this is Brian Glenn, owner of Village Idiot Pizza. You know your favorite Columbia pizza shop is franchising? We're excited to welcome franchise operators to our team as we grow throughout the Southeast. Ever thought you'd like to see a Village Idiot in your community? I'm talking to you, Lexington, Irmo, Chapin, Blythewood. Village Idiot Pizza has been bringing people together for community and pizza in Columbia for over 30 years. If you know someone who's ready to join a proven system and be their own boss, join our village. For more info, visit villageidiotpizza.com.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah. Crazy story. I'm at the Nissan end of summer sales event when Laura, the saleswoman, asks,
"Want to test drive the Rogue?"
I'm like, let's go. We're driving when Laura says,
"Want to see something cool? We see turbo engine."
I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Laura goes,
"Check this out."
She shows me the miles per gallon and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive fuel economy.
These new Nissan Rogues are going fast.
I knew I had to have that Nissan Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Nissan Sentra.
Get up to $2,500 total savings on remaining select early model 2024 Rogue Platinum trims. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. Total savings consists of $1,250 retail customer cash plus $1,250 bonus cash on select remaining 2024 Rogue inventory as available at your local dealership. Select Rogue bonus cash available on 40% of dealers' most aged inventory. Updated weekly. Available on purchase from new dealer stock. Contact your local dealer for current inventory information. Ends 9/3/24.
Harlan's Closet is your ultimate destination for buying, selling, and trading the latest and most sought-after sneakers. Harlan's Closet specializes in exclusive streetwear and accessories, offering a curated selection that caters to sneaker enthusiasts and fashion-forward individuals alike. Whether you're hunting for the newest drops, rare finds, or stylish apparel, Harlan's Closet has you covered. Harlan's Closet also specializes in exclusive products and limited sneakers and streetwear. Harlan's Closet strives to be your #1 stop for fashion, shoes, and retro classics. Step into Harlan's Closet's world at 514 Gervais Street in downtown Columbia and discover a unique shopping experience that combines urban culture with premium quality. Harlan's Closet is the sweet deal of the week. Get a $100 gift certificate for just $50. Visit 1075thegame.com beginning this Friday at 9 a.m. to get your $100 gift certificate to Harlan's Closet for just $50.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's